Hey everybody, and welcome to episode 47 of the Bonehead podcast, where we talk all things Blood Bowl. Welcome back, and once again, I am joined, as usual, by Bloodtithe Ben. Ben, how are you?
I'm really good, thank you, Ben. How are you?
Yeah, not bad, man. What's going on in your world? Anything fun?
A lot of hobby. Exciting new print things as well, which I'm sure we'll discuss.
Definitely.
Yeah,
No, you've been
really good.
smashing out on the hobby thing, and we got to show some of that off on. I can't remember where we streamed it to. I think we just streamed it to everything, actually, didn't we? The hobby
Yeah, I think it
hangout.
was everywhere.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that. That was good fun. We should do more of that.
Really good, definitely. Yeah.
It's frustrating to see how quickly you and Ian smash things out to a ridiculous standard.
Are you kidding? I painted like one color on that entire stream.
Yeah, one colour on 20 guys. Like, ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I got a layer done of my Minotaur. So
You're doing all the chat reading.
In comparison, not so good. Right, it's episode 47. It is, in fact, the Secret Team special. And those of you watching on YouTube will see the fancy little logo. So Ben, tell us, what are we talking about today?
Yeah, so like you said, it's Secret Team special. We're going to be talking about some of the secret teams from FUMBBL. And using them in your leagues and tournaments, and also some of our favourites, because they're really good fun. And yeah, along with the usual news and hobby.
Fantastic. Right, let's move on to what little news we've got this week. Okay, so news. We recorded the podcast just under 2 weeks ago, and there's not been a great amount of Blood Bowl bits. There's just a couple to touch on, and one I know we did talk about last week, but it is the Kraken Fantasy Stadiums. The world is in a bit of a 3D printing furor, and it certainly feels that way in our group. I think Ben would attest to that.
Oh, definitely, it takes over. It's it's a whole new world.
Well, as somebody who's hoping to trick you into printing some stuff off for me, I'm pretty happy. And some of the stuff I'd like to trick you into printing off is this Kraken Fantasy Stadium stuff. So it's sitting at nearly £12,000 of a target of 4,000. It's still got 16 days to go. And if you know anybody with a 3D printer, this is great value. Yeah, we did talk about this on the episode, didn't we?
Yeah, I think we covered it last week, but I mean, it's just too exciting not to mention again. I'm really looking forward to it. And they keep releasing stretch goals and stuff. They've got like drunk fans, I think was today's.
Oh,
yeah, it's
that's cool.
Yeah, there's like carts, like food carts and stuff have been involved. Lots of different like scenery, which is really good. Just like from like a fantasy game standpoint, it's really awesome.
I don't think I saw this before with the wooden the stone walls. So there's a selection of stone walls with lanterns and things, and some very Clash of Clans banners, which which I think is really, really cool as well. And you've got all the accessories, man. Is there a commercial license for this?
I think so. They tend to. I'll just have a little.
Oh, there it is. £227. Interesting.
I'm sure you'll make back quite quickly.
I think it's definitely a possibility. There's so much cool stuff here that can be used, but I love the pitch. I know it's going to take forever to print because Ian Triplo has been printing one from the it was the Leprechaun Kickstarter, wasn't it?
I think it was, yeah.
Yeah, so the Leprechaun Kickstarter had loads of chibi-looking Leprechaun players. It was a great team. Very stylized. I know that's kind of the word we go with when we say cartoony, we mean cartoony, but it's a very stylized set. And the pitch though was seriously good. It was proper stone. It looked like stone. He's printed the whole thing off now. It looks absolutely amazing. But this pitch looks even better because you've got a mixture of textures. So if you wanted an Aztec one, you've got it. If you wanted rubble, if you wanted mud, you got the trapdoors. They're all but it would take a very long time to print. A very long time.
Yeah, I'm thinking like,
years.
Probably a couple of weeks to just maybe about a week solid printing for the pitch, and then like the rest of it you're looking at quite a long time, but worth it. The filament doesn't cost that much. Literally doesn't cost that much. It's pretty good.
It's just the time, isn't it?
It's just the time. Yeah, you just got to be patient. What they did do, which was really good, is they released a video basically saying, here's how you print our pitch, because sometimes it can be really tricky to orient it and like support it and stuff like that. There's a lot of things to like worry about, and they're basically saying, here, use these settings, flip it like this. You won't have to use any supports. Just put this little brim on it, and it'll print both sides really cleanly. And because it's going vertically, you get all the detail, and it's really good. Yeah, and I thought that was really cool of them to do that, and they've given a free sample as well. So even if you're on the fence about it and you've got a printer, you can print just one slab and think, maybe that's for me, maybe not.
Oh
But I
wow.
think most of all, that just instills confidence, because if they know that their product's good enough, they can give you something for free
Yeah.
to try. I think that's a good move.
I think there's a couple of Kickstarters I've seen like that where they've got the STL files. I think that spaceship one, which they haven't delivered yet, but because I will be talking to you when that delivers. I did a couple of free files for that as well.
Oh, did they? I can give them a go if you'd like. And
Yeah, I need to have a look actually. So that's a really, really cool thing. The good store carts and things, meteorites.
Yeah.
They've got a load of extras for this. It's just a massive shame this wasn't being just produced.
Yeah, like,
I mean, James from Club bought the huge resin fortress pitch, right? That was 200 something pounds, I think. It was probably £200 in weight of resin when it was delivered. But I don't know. I know that STL files are good and everything like that. But if they had just put we'll print it for you for £150, I just think they'd be millionaires right now. Maybe that's maybe I should pick up that merchandise.
You could look at it this way, because it was like, yeah, you could look at it this way though. It's like, I'd say it's probably going to cost about 50 quid a material to print it. Let's just say that's being like, real ballpark figure, 50 quid. A printer's like 180. If you're willing to spend about 250 quid on a pitch, you could spend 250 quid on the printer and the material to print it,
and print
get it
yourself,
and then you have a printer left over. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, maybe.
So that's. Yeah,
maybe I like it. As for miniatures and pictures and things like that, now we've had the Games Workshop's announcement. It is the 17th. We're recording this. We're recording this slightly earlier than normal, but this Sunday, hopefully, we'll get some Games Workshop news. I mean, we're still waiting on the trees. What else are we waiting on? Oh yeah, the entire Snotling team.
Yeah, I've had nothing so far.
No. Now, what they did do this week was they released a really good roadmap for Underworlds. So for Shadespire and things like that, they said this is going to come out this month. This is coming out this month. The next edition's coming out in December. It's incredible how we don't have anything like that for Blood Bowl.
Yeah, do you reckon the Underworld scene is a bit bigger?
Maybe it's a bit bigger. Maybe it's because Underworlds is there to be organised play. So it is like a CCG you have to paint. Like never written the worst kind. And I don't know whether it's that, but man, if we had a roadmap for Blood Bowl, even for the next few months, I don't know whether I mean, what do you think? Do you think Games Workshop loves releasing something, teasing something, and have the buzz? Do you think, yeah, I know, right? What a question. Do you think they like money? Is that something you think they're interested in?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. What do you think the impact would be, realistically, if they did drop a roadmap? Do you think it would be good, or do you think it would be bad, as far as Games Workshop are concerned?
They do really like hype, and I think it's kind of bold of them to do it now after the whole 40k hype thing was a bit of a mess. To like say, oh, this is what we plan to do. The last ignore the last time we've done it and it's failed, but this time it will be good. No, but seriously, I think it would be a really good move, like, to do a Blood Bowl roadmap. I don't really see where it can hurt them. I do get the feeling they quite like to be secretive about stuff. They do really like teasing.
Massively feels that way. And do you think that's because there are, to be fair, some really, really, really good third-party Blood Bowl guys out there? I mean, some top-quality Blood Bowl guys out there. But
I think we can't ignore that, yeah.
Is that what it is? Is it because there's one team? If they spoiled Snotlings now and they said Snotlings are coming out in December, that would give Grebo, Punga, Vortice, a load of other really good miniatures companies a chance to just make a Snotling team in a month or 2 months, get it out, and then once a Blood Bowl player has bought that Snotling team, they have got the Snotling team. When Games Workshop drop theirs, there's no impetus for them to do that. I guess that could be it. Whereas like 40k, well, no, because in 40k they're even more secretive. Like, it's ridiculous. It's like, boom, here's the spoiler. It's really in depth, and there's an amount of skulls that no other miniatures company could do. So, except your Russian friends. But I don't know. Underworlds. Do you think it's because they're a group of very specific character miniatures that can't necessarily be proxied or replaced, and because they've got the cards, they're just not fussed about spoilers for that?
Maybe, yeah. Like they really do own Underworlds. Like
Yeah.
it's never really been anyone else. Like they do it. Like well, they have roadmap Necromunda as well, and Necromunda has a bit of a third party presence.
Yeah. I don't think it's as potent as the Blood Bowl one.
It's not. No, it's not nearly as potent.
It's
And
weird.
like you say, they are quite like Blood Bowl is. You have humans, you have orcs. You know, there's a whole spectrum of like
Yeah.
design and style you can pick from there. But like Necromunda, you have House Goliath, who's quite specific in their design, and like
Yeah, they
House
are.
Orlok,
I
and
think you're
can't
right.
really. Yeah.
You know,
So
we see this all the time where people are like, the Blood Bowl is more the communities than it is Games Workshop. And I've always thought, well, it's Games Workshop's game. Like, it's their IP, they own it. But I think when it comes to releases and things like this, it is really indicative that it is probably the one game of theirs that is the least theirs of all their games. Because
I would agree. Yeah.
Blood Bowl ran without Games Workshop for 20 years. It may not
Yeah.
have been 20 years. It may have been like 7. But it doesn't matter. And there are companies out there that will take Blood Bowl and run with it, which ties in very nicely to the theme of this week, which is secret teams and teams outside of the core Blood Bowl teams, and actually what you can do with Blood Bowl, which ties in very nicely to the next competition that we'll be announcing at the end of the show. Although by the time this episode's come out, you've probably already seen it. God, love time traveling of this kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, just come on, Games Workshop. Just please give us a roadmap. It doesn't need to be a one in set in stone. Just like quarter 1, you're going to have this team. Quarter 2, this team. Even if they want to build up hype, they could say quarter 4, it's going to be Norse, Amazon, Slan, one of these 3 teams. Enjoy, community. Start panicking. What they're going to introduce. They're going to take away this. Where are they going to move my cheese? And, create Fiora. Yeah, I don't know.
It could
don't
be
know.
that Snotlings are the start of Games Workshop taking it back, because it is the first team they've released that's real, like just new, they've never seen before. So it could be the beginning of that, and they might like from Snotlings might say, look, here's what's coming next. You're going to have your
That'd be really interesting if they did that. Now,
Snake Man team.
for all the grognards out there, yes, we know that there was a Snotling team billions of years ago.
Yeah.
And I love Snotlings. I've been playing with my ogres for years, but what it has positionals that we don't know what they're going to do, and it has positionals so the pump wagon, we've seen pump wagons in many guises in special in secret teams for one, but in the secret team / stunty leagues on FUMBBL, where the pump wagons are inspired from the pump wagons evolved, there's 2 very different versions, right? And we don't know how Games Workshop's going to take it. So they've got these positionals. It's kind of hard for a third party to produce their own version of it, because what you'll see in third-party teams is there is a Goblin Bombardier, okay? The Goblin Bombardier throws explosives. So there they can go and sculpt something that represents the rules of the model. But at the moment, there is a Snotling on stilts and a Snotling on a tiny Nimbus cloud from Dragon Ball Z.
It is,
crossed with the moon from Legend of Zelda, from Majora's Mask. And it's like... I don't know if they can do it. Yeah, I don't know if they can do it yet.
It'll be risky. It'll be really risky to just go in there and make a competitor without really knowing what everything is going to be.
Yeah, it's a bit of a shame, but hey, you never know. And the worst thing about this, and it sounds a bit negative this week. I don't want to be negative because I love the prospect of having toys, but it's just this release is coming, so there's no excitement. It's release anxiety. It's maybe a week on Saturday I'm going to have a new Blood Bowl team. Maybe a week on Saturday I'm going to have a new Blood Bowl team. Every flipping Sunday, are we going to be buying a Blood Bowl team in 2 weeks time? And I know it's coming, and it's stopping me from buying other stuff because I'm like, that AOS unit, I could use that for Blood Bowl. That'd be cool. Well, yeah. I kind of need to keep my £50 aside for my Blood Bowl release, which may or may not come out this weekend. And I think that it's got to the point now where it might be, or at least in my world, is slightly, ever so slightly, marginally, barely stopping impulse purchases. It's stopping that impulse buy, because I'm like, well, I want to get this because in 2 weeks' time the Snotling team's going to be out and I'm just going to be painting that, and this is just going to stay in the grey pile of doom.
So would you prefer the other extreme or something in between? So the other extreme being they just drop it. Would you like that? So they just said, well, Snotlings are out, and you never knew they were coming.
Snotlings, and then they do the boom, Snotling team is coming. I think they did that with Lizards. I distinctly remember being at a junction queuing because there was a train and my WhatsApp went crazy in the Blood Bowl group because this release had happened, and then 5 minutes later I got home and it was all of a sudden the Lizardman team had been spoiled and that it was going to be available for pre-order in a couple of weeks time. So it was a real excitement. It was, oh my goodness, there's a new team. And then the following week we found out some stuff about it, and the following week it went on pre-order, and the following week we got it, and it was just, it was really exciting. It was like, oh, it's Christmas. It's December. Here we go. Now it's like, we're going to have Christmas this year, guys, but due to coronavirus, we're not sure when it's going to be. And it's a bit, it's a bit tough. It's a bit tough.
So I think from that, we kind of can figure out that the best way to do it is to say, here's the team that's coming and here is when they are coming.
Maybe,
to
yeah.
say, give a date. Like you could even say, August 2020 Snotlings.
Exactly.
And then and then you can plan around it.
I do really like the splash release. Even if they do a 2-week pre-order, I think any longer than that, it gets old hat, and it's kind of like this. And now this is something that they have done, is they've previewed the next release and then previewed the release after that and then previewed the release after that, and you're not fussed about the next release because you know that 2 releases time is going to be the thing that you really want. And I wonder if they've saturated that excitement point that I think you mentioned earlier. I mean, what about you? What would you prefer?
I think I would like the release date. I think dropping it surprisingly is very Games Workshop. It's almost like 2 Games Workshop, where it's just like you had no idea and then suddenly it's dropped. Like, it's awesome because that's when excitement is at its peak. It'll be like tomorrow. It's almost like when you go to you watch E3 or something for video games.
Exactly,
and they go,
like
available now. And you're just oh my gosh, I can go get the game now.
The world literally just changed. Yeah.
Yeah, but I understand from a business point that's actually quite difficult because they like people to plan their money. They like people to save up. They like people to have the money to buy it.
So what
you see on the pre-order.
What they could do is say that, hey guys, this huge release is coming in 3 months' time, and then not produce enough. Too soon? Too soon?
That's very, very Games Workshop.
Well, just what you needed for 2020 was for your hobby to just fall apart as well.
Yeah.
I mean, did you get your copy in the end?
I did. I was able to get it. Yeah, when they did the made-to-order, third-party shops opened up as well.
That's interesting. I would not like to see that happen for Blood Bowl, but it kind of did happen for Blood Bowl. And some places didn't get all the pitches that they were supposed to get. In fact, I think my pitch is at my family's house because I just forgot to change my order details.
Which one did you get?
Well, I picked up the Underworld/OWA pitch that we are going to be giving away for those of you who are dropping feedback into us. And I think this podcast will be out by then. So thank you guys for dropping us some feedback. We've had 50 something bits of info at the moment, which is great. We just want to know what more it is you guys want. And one of the cool things was that loads and loads of people said we want to see hobby content. So last Sunday we did a hobby stream with me, Ben, and Ian, and we cycled through what we were painting. We got loads of painting done. It was really great fun.
I loved it. It was really productive as well. It's genuinely really productive.
Yeah, it was cool just to hang out with people. A load of other people sent us pictures of what they got painted. So hopefully we're doing more of that. It's a good way to get together and game and geek. And that's the kind of thing that can continue even after lockdown ends, is because Sunday night, hang out, do some painting on stream, play a game. We'll see what happens, which is quite cool. But sorry, I did digress. Yes, the Games Workshop release schedule is a bit divisive. And talking of divisive things, we had a tournament run near enough close to us in the last week. So an actual IRL in real life tournament was held on the Isle of Wight by Rob, and it was Sand Bowl, and it's one of the first UK NAF events to happen after lockdown. He said he got so they ran it. There was 12 of them. They had basically an entire restaurant. They did a lot of work to make sure that everything was as clean as it could be. They had PPE available for all contestants. They had the vinyl matches. Vinyl pitches, so they could wipe them down. Although he did say there's not really much point of this, but it's just in case people cough on it or whatever. They said everyone was wearing masks, and they did this thing where one coach stepped up to the plate and the other one stepped back. So they had stools positioned on either side of the table, so that say you and I were playing a game, Ben, we'd be sat on our stools, both, probably the stools are 3 meters apart or whatever it is. Your turn, you get up, come over to the pitch, move stuff around, only your own models, only your own dice, and then you sit down, and if someone has sidestep, you have to step back. So if you're going to be playing in a quarantine match in a tournament, I'd maybe leave
Don't go
sidestep. Yeah, maybe leave sidestep alone, and don't you dare take shadowing.
Yeah, oh, could you imagine that?
Don't be
The
that
entire
guy. I know.
first half, just
Just yeah, lots of fun. So yeah, they booked the whole restaurant out. They had 6 gaming tables in the restaurant. That sits 50 people. They're spread around. Some players will mask, but didn't make it mandatory. Did some trial games beforehand to see how it worked. Boards of vinyl, so they cleaned that. Dice rolls were easily visible from 2 meters away. Yeah, I think it's really good to see that. And he says, of course, no handshakes. I think it's really good to see people take it seriously. So they could they gamed and they could take it seriously. And I know there's a load of uproar about tournaments starting up and about this is reckless. Don't do it. We cancelled our August tournament because we cancelled it a while ago, and the reason for that is because we didn't want to be umming and ahhing coming up to it, whether we could do it, whether we couldn't do it. So we just said, look, we'll cancel that, and we'll just take the prize pool that we had set aside for that and put it into our October tournament, which is what we've done. That's Mega Bowl, and I'm happy with that decision. And actually, I think it's a great way to just hope that October is going to be great and have a great tournament and extra prizes, which is pretty lovely. But I don't know, with the amount of controls and things they put in place, I think that's good. I mean, how would you feel about playing in a tournament at the moment, Ben?
Yeah, I probably wouldn't personally for me. And that's just, I'm a bit paranoid about everything. I'd just rather. I'm not desperate. Like, I would love to play tabletop. I deeply miss it, but I'm not desperate. So personally, that's me. But I really do like that he said everyone respected it and there were no issues. That's like warms my heart for the community.
Yeah,
I think that's a really good thing to hear. Did he say how many people went?
12. It was only 12.
Oh, coaches. Yeah, which is good. I think anything that's like an intimate tournament, you can kind of control it a bit. I think anything more than that would be really difficult to manage.
Man, can you imagine Beachhead? Now, Beachhead was at the BIC in the middle of a games convention, so that just like we were talking
probably
about this,
already COVID in there.
Yeah, we were talking about this the other day, wasn't it? We're so lucky that our last tournament, just before everything closed down, was such a massive event with 40 plus coaches at a convention, and it was full gamer. But at an event like this, yeah, I think that's it, Ben. I think I'm with you. I'm not in any rush. I am absolutely dying to play our league again, or just play a tournament and have a great time, but there's a lot of stuff going on that kind of cures that itch. We've got some great, content when it comes to hobby. You can hang out. You can, FUMBBL has ticked a load of boxes. Blood Bowl 2's ticked a load of boxes. We're running another FUMBBL tournament starting as this airs tomorrow. Yeah, get to it quick. That's the Summer Sorcery. And it's just, we can get the games in, we can get the Blood Bowl in, and you can do it without going out. Which up until recently has not been something that the society has advised, but you should go out, play with people. Now it's kind of flip flopped, and yeah, I think if you're going to take it seriously like these guys did on the Isle of Wight, which I even said to him, what was it I said? I was like, as a compliance manager in real life, it sounds like you smashed it. It sounds like they took it really serious, which was awesome. Really, I mean, my job at the moment is to control and provide a safe environment for 30,000 people a week or whatever it is.
Blimey.
Yeah.
Not easy.
To process hundreds of thousands of pounds worth of transactions in a week and keep everybody safe and set and distance and everything like that. So the work they've done, I think they've done a great job.
Yeah,
but I'm
really good.
I'm with you. I'm not in any hurry. I'm happy to wait for a couple of months for it to calm all down, and hopefully we can do it a bit more comfortably. And when it comes to our league, I've said no one can play games until our venue is reopened. So, and the reason that we've agreed that as the Council of Blood Bowl people, Council of Wobble, is because if you are feeling uncertain about it, which I get, we don't want people to feel pressured to go.
Exactly. Yeah.
But if you're nervous, if you're
perfectly reasonable stance to not want to do it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's why Rob said, he was like, there was only 12 people. It was good. Those 12 people were people that we knew they were comfortable to come. They could leave if they wanted. If it wasn't great, like, it's fine. And I think if you're having a gaming club like that, we're not opening the league for home play matches because we don't want to penalise those who aren't willing to go out. Because it is a risk. Maybe they've got vulnerable people at home. Maybe they are themselves vulnerable. Maybe they just don't want to contribute to spreading a plague, potentially. And I think those stances have to be respected, which is why the NAF did exactly the right thing by pausing all of the tournament series as soon as this happened. So you can go to NAF tournaments, you can raise your NAF ratings, but there's no tournament series for you to really get points for. So it's kind of like you can go, you can play, you can do the NAF things, but they don't really count for anything except your own personal numbers.
Yeah,
I think that's
very fair.
I think that's bang on. I really do. So, guys out there, let us know what you think about tournaments just yet or not. There's probably a load of pro and a load of for, a load of against, and it'd be interesting to see what you guys feel about that. Because if you're gaming with friends, do it responsibly. Because it's going to be a lot easier to game in a month or two when everything's calmed down and gone back to normal than if we accidentally spread it and we do get that second wave. And if that second wave's hit, apparently it's planned, or the potential for it to be is in October, which means we're gonna have to cancel another tournament.
That would suck. Yeah.
So yeah, we're not going to go for Super Bowl in August, so that we've got a better chance of having Mega Bowl in October. And I think that works. That works for me. So that's cool. And the other thing that we wanted to mention news is Mega Bowl. So we talked about last episode. I may or may not have put out social posts about it. I think I have. I'm not sure if I have. But yeah, it's we're taking all the prize pool from the tournaments that we've had to pause and putting it together, and we're having it on October the 31st, Saturday the October 31st, Mega Bowl, and it is at Entoyment in Pool, and it's going to be £10 a ticket, and that is to support the venue with venue hire and to help with our prize pool. And it's
awesome venue as well to add. It's like hobby mecca. It's fantastic.
They redecorated when they were closed. Yeah, so when I was there last week to do the unboxing, they've moved their dining area sort of round to the other side. They've got a whole new food counter in it. It looks amazing.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, upstairs is still the great same massive gaming space, which is awesome, but downstairs they've got all the toys, all the flipping toys. It's dangerous.
So much stock. Yeah,
dangerous in there. But no, it's all been decked out even nicer. So yes,
awesome.
It's a great venue, loads of space, and we should be able to have a really good day. We should be able to implement whatever social guidance is in place still in October. But it is going to be a really interesting day. We've got two formats going on at once. So there's 2 games of 11s and 2 games of 7s. It's going to go 11s, 7s, lunch, 7s, 11s, prizes. And there's a lot of prizes. So it should be a really great day for that. And there's Secret League teams. There's some Stunty League teams, horror themed from Tombstone Tournament. We've got mixed teams are allowed. And I don't just mean the ones from 9, from Spike 9. This is you take 2 teams, you put them together. There are some restrictions. There's only 424 choices. So and then also you've got the regular teams as well. So it's 481 teams, I think, all in all, that you can take. So yeah. Bear in mind, so there's a load of teams, a load of stuff. So it gives a great opportunity to do some modelling, and I know that's one of the key things for anything different. Yeah. Just don't think about it as a super competitive tournament, because there's a lot of teams and the mixture format. Think of it as a game day where you're going to come and you're going to build a cool team, or just bring whatever team you love playing, and you're going to play some games of Blood Bowl that you probably wouldn't have played before. And it's a great way to celebrate Blood Bowl and probably earn some cool loot and some cool prizes while you do it. So
definitely,
that is the goal of Mega Bowl. And I know that, talking of loot and prizes, Ben's going to see if he can't do some pretty awesome magic stuff, so that
hopefully you get some cool loot.
You're going to want to come along.
Yes, yeah.
I've already got some cool prizes laid up, and that's even before you get to work. And that's even before some of the work you've been doing in the last week, which takes us very nicely into this quick jingle, and then we'll talk about some of that crazy stuff Ben's been working on. So we'll be right back with Hobby. And it's Hobby time. Ben, take it away.
Yeah, I've been pretty busy. Currently, while we record, I tend to get a bit of hobby done during the podcast. It's good use of time.
Very much so.
I'm trying to finish off my Middle-earth thing. So Ian Warhannam, and I split a Pelennor Fields box, and we're going to do some scenarios when lockdown's ended. So I've got the Mordor, so I'm just speed painting them up. Just doing a really basic scheme, but something quick and just get paint on them, because they're quite old models. not
Oh,
the
yeah, they
most
kind
fun
of
things
are,
to
aren't they?
paint, but yeah, it's quite satisfying just to lay colours and just give them a wash and they're done.
Hang on,
Yeah,
what are we talking here? Lord of the Rings: Return of the King must have been 2003, so these models must have been out 2004, 2000.
yeah.
Wow, I employ people that are older than these models, that are younger than these models. That's ridiculous. That's
Not
crazy.
far off me.
Maybe,
Yeah.
yeah. That's phenomenal.
Yeah, and that's hence my. If you're watching the video, I got a bit gothic fingernails from spraying just before we recorded this, so it's not. I'm not just going through a phase. Yeah,
Hey, no judging,
um,
no judgment.
yeah, that's true. We all went there. Yeah, so that's one thing. I've been putting some paint on the pirates, which we did on the hobby stream.
Oh man,
Um,
those pirates are so lovely.
yeah, we gave away the Rattoga, didn't we, in the last
Yes,
competition, and it kind of just made me think, I need to paint mine. So
that went off this
yeah,
week to Stephen Knowles.
yeah.
So hopefully, I'll check in with him actually, see if he's got it yet. That's so cool.
I don't know if the video's cropped, but they're just like in the corner over there. Sort of.
It is a little bit cropped. Let me see if I can just
A bit cropped.
just
And
spread it
kind of
out.
hastily putting them over to the side before we record, thinking, "Oh, these are in the way."
Yeah, there they are, just in the corner, just in the corner.
Yeah. So
No.
I've got them on the go. There's a billion things. I need to finish projects. That's kind of what my goal is for this week. But most importantly, I'll go grab this
Cool.
because this is cool.
Cool. So on the pirates, hopefully we should have a
Now,
team.
are
to
we
give away.
prepared to talk about our crazy idea, Ben?
No, go. Which one? There's loads. Pick one. Go for
Okay.
it.
So something we're toying around with is, how far into the podcast are we? Like what, half an hour?
Yeah, half an
I
hour.
don't know. Yeah. So here's the first mention of giants.
Oh, yeah, it wasn't me.
Yeah. I
Fantastic.
saved you this time. First episode.
I know. I did use the word
Yeah.
Fiora twice, but didn't mention giants. Didn't mention giants. Let's see if we can.
Yeah, I'll hold this up to the camera. Yeah, the lighting's pretty terrible, but yeah.
Oh, that's coming on brilliantly. So, for
Yeah,
those of you listening to the podcast, Ben has got a 3D printer. You may have heard. And one of the things he's been printing like a madman are legitimate giants. They're proper D&D. They're proper D&D style
very
giants.
very fire giant. Yeah.
Yeah, I love them. I love the paint scheme you've gone for. Now, what is that? That's like 3, maybe 4 human linemen tall, Ben?
Yeah, I've got some elves for scale. It's about three elves tall. Yeah.
3 elves
Like
tall.
head to foot.
Man,
They're standing up. Yeah.
that is crazy. They are really, really, really nice models. So yes, giants. We like giants. They're entertaining. They're a different way to play Blood Bowl. They're another cool element. They definitely deserve a giant-sized pitch with some giant players and some really big giants. And that's something that we are going to madly do at some point somehow.
Absolutely.
But yeah, Ben has been printing giants. Did you say you've got another one on the go?
Yeah, I think I've got bits of him just here. I've got some trousers here, so I've got a couple of them. These are from Arch Villain Games, if people are wondering. It's a Patreon. He's running Magma Lords this month, and it comes with 5 different fire giants, as well as some other things.
Is that the Chaos Dwarves and stuff?
It's a different one to that, but there's a lot of like Chaos Dwarf units.
Our group chat
yeah.
and the Discord is just like Ben finding these Patreons and just be like, look at this. In fact, where was that weird elf one you showed the group?
I don't even remember.
Because Ian was thinking about what to do with his dryads, and you were like, hang on.
Oh yeah, Raging Heroes. Yeah.
Yeah, hold my printer. I've got these willow people. Amusingly, and also inspired kind of by the secret teams as well, which is
Yeah.
I think
we can talk about that later.
I think you printing things is just going to unlock the potential for Blood Bowl a little bit in our group.
It's the worst though. I thought when I got it, it would eliminate my backlog. I'm just like, yeah, okay, so I can print the upgrades. Like, I can finally get around to doing my orc vehicles, and I could print like a little gun to go on them to make them a bit different, but unique. And like, I wouldn't have to buy any more plastic models anymore because I've got a printer. And instead of just printed a bunch of plastic models,
Just to top up the
endlessly.
pile. It's so good.
Yeah, it's more than I've ever had.
So you know what I think is missing from Blood Bowl?
Okay.
Well, that's a long list of things that really aren't missing from Blood Bowl. But one thing I do genuinely think is missing from Blood Bowl are upgrade kits for the plastic teams. Now, Games Workshop have created their teams, and the plastic ones, although you do get a mimicking of very dynamic poses sometimes, it's not a terrible price to pay for a realistically really well sculpted. I don't think there's not a Blood Bowl team out there that isn't well produced. I don't think there's finicky bits, but there's a lot of detail, and they're really good models.
They are all really good, yeah.
But they are built and stick together in really horrific ways, which makes converting them kind of a challenge sometimes. It doesn't have the classic Space Marine flat arms where you can just chuck any arm on any guy and it works. You know, if I'm just waiting for a bit site to do specific plug and play blitz that go into the Blood Bowl kits. And I don't know if they would ever be able to do it because they are so like intrinsically designed that it would be really challenging to do it. But if there was an upgrade kit for any team, I think it would do really, really well.
Are there any players do you think that would work really well for? Do you mean just like a different helmet for like an Orc Blitzer or something, or do you mean like whole new players?
Well, different heads, different armor styles, different shoulder pads, just different hands, like just Blood Bowl bits. I think would just sell phenomenally well. And that's not like, I don't mean for getting AOS kits and for Blood Bowlifying them. I mean like the way you build the human lineman is you take the left arm and shoulder bit and the bottom back of it and you stick it together. I think if they did upgrades of just individual parts, I think it would be, because that's what the Forge World guys did for the Bright Crusaders and the Orc one. I never got a chance to buy the Orc one. I don't really want the Bright Crusader one because they've all got bare heads and, you know, since... Hey, talk to a Space Marine player about bare heads on Terminators. You know, and it's the same. It's like, okay, you know what Tom Brady does ever? Never takes his helmet off because he would die. So, yeah, I mean, you're going to die on the Blood Bowl pitch anyway, aren't you? But I don't know. Just,
exactly.
That's something I would like to see. At some point, someone just doing Blood Bowl bits. You know, I will take specific shoulder pads and arms and things like that. Because someone with a printer like that, I mean, I know you've done your Deathwatch shoulder pads, maybe?
Yeah, I've done a couple of them, yeah.
And that's, you know, that was the reason you bought the printer, but it sounds like you've had more success just printing whole miniatures off.
Honestly, like now, it's crazy how fast it's going. I think people who've already got in, like companies and individuals who've already got in their foot in the door are kind of set. But I think now it would be really difficult for new people to get in because competition is like each month there's another person undercutting someone else. It's great to be a consumer. But I do wonder where the businesses are going to go because it can only get so cheap.
What do you mean, the sculpting or the printing or what?
The sculpting, because like you can get so many models for like $10.
$10 a month.
At what point? When does it stop? Because then someone comes in saying, "Oh, ours are $9," because they know that people can only afford so much per month. So
yeah, so you've kind of got to prioritize. Which you go for, or you come up with a conglomerate, which I know probably tech breaks the T's and C's of that. But if there's a few of you, you know, you pick up that Patreon, you pick up that Patreon, you pick up that Patreon, £10 a month, we get £30 worth of stuff each we could print off.
Like private use is a whole different story, really. So
absolutely.
It's like, it's when you start commercializing other people's work. That's when it's bad. But when it's I you could pronounce the models with some friends, I think.
Yeah, I definitely think that. I think that's exactly it. Cool. So Ben has been printing like a madman. He's got giants on the go. I've seen a couple of big guys on the print. Working on your pirates. I have been painting things, which has been lovely. I've been painting some more of my ogre team, my chaos ogres. Did that on stream. Been doing my Minotaur. I'm actually really happy with the skin. I do think it needs...
It looks fantastic. It looks really good.
It needs a little bit more of a stark highlight, but I'm worried about overdoing it. So I'll probably just take some better pictures and get your guys' input.
No, like that, I would be straight with you. I think one thing I can never do is to bring myself to a strong highlight. You look at all the professional painters; they highlight to like white, and I'm just like, how do you have the balls to do that?
I'm just too scared to do it. So he's nearly finished, and then I've got a load of stuff that I can paint. So if we do another hobby stream this Sunday, if you and Ian are available, actually not even if you're not available, I think I've got a zombie match on Sunday, and then I'm going to go straight into just doing some hobby hangout as well. And it's just going to be painting some stuff. There's so much to paint. It's really cool. I did pick up the Old World Alliance team to do the unboxing, and then I accidentally left it with Ian because no. You see, he made it off the cuff remark. He was like, might just get some dwarves and a couple of halflings and make my humans, because he'd been painting up a human team with tiger stripes. He did.
You know, Saber Tusk.
Yeah. Well done. I couldn't remember that at all. But he painted the Windsor Chog Ogre to go with them. He painted the humans to go with them. And actually, he mentioned that. So when I dropped off some stuff to his house, because I bought him a hot pot for his birthday, a halfling hot pot, the old school model. And I dropped around my Old World Alliance box. I was like, oh, if you did say you wanted some paint up some dwarves and some halflings, so Ian might accidentally paint us an Old World Alliance team that we could use for YouTube.
Oh, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool. So outsourcing accidentally to Ian. But I won't be painting them up, which is fine because I've got plenty of other stuff to paint, and I'm just working my way through things for YouTube when we can start recording, hopefully in a month, 2 months time. Maybe even less. I don't know when it'll be, but
we're recording some secret teams.
We need to finish that off and then go into season 3, which I'm super excited about. But yes, it would be very useful if I had a roadmap from Games Workshop so I could plan. I could plan the shooting, whether we use the ogre team or whether we replace it with snotlings if they're out in time. Did put it out to the community. Is it Old World Alliance or dwarves that you want to see next? And dwarves are gone. So
really?
I think the Old World Alliance kind of, I think they've ousted dwarves a little bit. So
fun dwarves.
Yeah, dangerous fun dwarves, and there's a bunch of cool stuff in the community going on with that as well. So hobby wise, I've been doing that. What did I do? I got a zombie game in against Eric Experbeard. It was a 1-1 draw. It was a great match. I got another defensive touchdown on the opening drive, and then I couldn't hold him off. And it's such a defensive league, all zombies. That's the FUMBBL run by Morpheus. And talking of FUMBBL times, we've got Summer Sorcery coming up soon. Which is going to be just a fun FUMBBL event as well. So I'm sure you guys have already heard about it by the time you listen to the podcast, because I probably would have done a video and then put it into the feed before this episode aired. But I'm sure you've heard about that as well. So loads of hobby stuff going on, loads of games going on. Ben, I don't think you've had a chance to play any Blood Bowl, have you?
No games, sadly.
We need to get a FUMBBL tournament on the go again.
Yeah, I think I will join for Summer Sorcery, so let's get my team sorted for that.
Wizards everywhere, the great equalizer of Blood Bowl.
Yeah,
there's
love more hate him.
Giants, wizards, and secret teams. I think basically sums up the Bonehead podcast. Oh, and of course sevens. Those are a few of our favourite things, and I think that is probably about it hobby-wise, Ben.
Yeah, I think so.
Sweet, right. Let's get talking about secret teams.
Okay, so we're going to get into the real substance of the episode, which is talking about secret teams in leagues and tournaments. So Ben and I are huge fans of secret teams, as we've said before, and yeah, we just wanted to just have a bit of a ramble about how we can convince other people to incorporate them more into their tabletop. And also through FUMBBL and stuff like that as well. Yeah, Ben, like you love secret teams, right? Man, what is it you love about them?
They are so cool. So before we get into the real detail of it, secret teams are on FUMBBL. FUMBBL we've talked about loads of times. It's an online Java-based Blood Bowl. I think I described it before as if Square Enix made a Blood Bowl game, because it is just like 16-bit graphics. So the interface is pretty old school, but it allows you to play Blood Bowl. So these people have created this FUMBBL to play Blood Bowl on, and then it developed, and they thought they'd start building teams. And I did a count earlier, and with the Secret League and the Stunty League, there's over 100 teams there. Like the Secret League's 80-something teams, and these are all teams that are either developed from the fluff or whatever, just that have been played hundreds of times. So if you love Blood Bowl, there's a whole bunch of teams. So the reason I love the secret teams is because it is another way to play. There are some teams that are like human teams with a twist. There are some teams that are completely unique. And there's just... Blood Bowl is a challenge. Every game is its own game. There's its own narrative. Things unfold. No two games are the same unless you're playing dwarves versus dwarf. Then it's a 1-0 to somebody. But, there's even some cool dwarf teams in the Secret League. And, and so I think the reason I love it the most, and the reason we propagate these teams so much, is because it's just another way to play.
It's like an expansion pack to your Blood Bowl.
Oh,
so
that's
you have
such a good way to describe it.
Yeah, you've got your core game, which is always really good, and everyone loves it. And then sometimes you just want a bit more, and you get a new season pass or your new DLC, and it just all these secret teams pile in, and you just have so much to choose from.
It is like DLC. DLC for Blood Bowl from before DLC existed.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just like whatever you want out of Blood Bowl, there will be a secret team for it. Like if you're a Warhammer fan, you really like a certain faction part of the lore, that's all in there, and it really expands onto areas that Blood Bowl kind of hasn't got yet. Before Games Workshop are now releasing the Snotling team,
Yeah,
you'd have a Snotling team and a secret team.
there's two. There's two.
Yeah, exactly.
There's one in the Stunty League, and there's one in the Secret Leagues. And
Yeah.
they're both horrible with trolls and bum wagons and things. So I cannot wait to see what the Games Workshop roster is going to be, because if it's like either of the ones on the secret on FUMBBL, man, it's going to be a fun team to play.
Yeah. You might not win, but you're going to have a blast. So.
But nobody plays stunties to win. They play stunties for carnage.
Exactly.
And I think, that team is looking like it's going to be lined up. Hopefully those pump wagons will be mighty. Just a quick aside, if you want to know more about or see stunty leagues being played or evidence of them have been played, Lockdown Bowl and Bonehead Bowl 2 were FUMBBL tournaments that we were involved in, and I cast a lot of games. I played a lot of games, but I also commentated a lot of games. And in Bonehead Bowl, Ben, you did exactly the same. You streamed some games, you commentated some games. So there's a load of really interesting matches with Secret League teams available on our YouTube. And right now we are going to go live with a FUMBBL tournament. I think I said earlier in the week that it was going live after this episode was going out. I've got my dates mixed up. It's our FUMBBL tournament starting on Sunday the 2nd of August. So when this podcast comes out, if you're listening, you've got a week to sign up, and it's free. Just come along, plays 4 weeks worth of crazy Stunty League and Secret League games with us, and hopefully this ramble is going to encourage you to do so. So yeah, sorry for interjecting, Ben. I just wanted to say, if you wanted to see any stuff, jump on YouTube and you can see some of the games we've played, including the ridiculous Hail Mary pass. And my snotling pump wagon scoring touchdowns. It's just so good. It's so good. There's just the stories are so good.
Yeah, I think all the stories I remember from Blood Bowl tournaments, the strongest ones have been the ones with secret teams involved.
Because they're so unique, right? Because they're you're exploring this. So I think you mentioned Tombstone, Ben. Tombstone is a tournament that we ran last year. We were going to run this year. It's now morphed into Mega Bowl. So the teams are still available. And we've got 29 secret/stunty league teams that you can run on tabletop. So we had this event, and there are teams there that you have never really played before. You've never played. You may not have even looked at them before, because you're going from 20. What is it? It's either 28 or 29 standard teams now, depending on where you are with Snotlings and Underworld, to that plus another 80 something stunty secret teams out there. There's just so many teams.
Mental.
Yeah, it's so good. But this is about why you should run them and how you can run them in leagues and tournaments. So Ben, where did you want to start?
Yeah, so I think with the thing with new things, and some people are averse to new things and averse to change, and I think that's absolutely fair. You have your human team and you go into your league and you expect to play one of your opponents, bring in, they're bringing Skaven. I've got to use my anti-Skaven tactic, which you've spent years developing, and that's great. And sometimes it can be a bit scary if someone says, right, I'm going to bring my Vimir team, and you're like, what is Vimir?
Oh man.
And and it's I can totally understand that. But I think if it's encouraged more and maybe drip fed into the league, maybe introduce like a handful, and you can choose them, you can integrate it with it, you can play normally.
Yeah.
Like maybe that's a good way of doing it, because it's still Blood Bowl. Like I've played a few games with secret teams now, like quite a few, and it's never not felt like Blood Bowl. It's still the same. You just got to learn some new player types every now and then.
So I think one of the first fears that a player can have, or that a coach can have, or a TO or league commissioner can have, is the fear of balance. That is, first of all, there is no balance in Blood Bowl.
Exactly.
But introducing another team that's tier 1 like Wood Elves might not be the most fun, which is obviously where the fear comes in the community with Games Workshop releasing new teams.
Yeah, we've seen a few teams which are kind of like pushing the boundaries.
They look dangerously good. But that's from a set piece point of view. And actually, these are play tested hundreds of times by different strangers on the internet. That's the great thing about these. Is I think one of these teams, the lowest, is like, oh, this team has only played 327 games. So I'm going to leave it as it is now to see how it plays out. And it's like, right, that's enough. That's a lot of games. Like, if something's ridiculous, you're going to flag it up immediately. And there are going to be some games. I have played these games. I have I have streamed these games where some of your players can just seem broken. I mean, I did something really broken with a rotter. Okay, from Nurgle. No one's going to look at the Nurgle roster and be like, man, that team's OP because those Movement 5 Hatch 3 guys, they're ridiculous. No, they're not.
Yeah.
You just get lucky sometimes. And yes, there are some team builds here that look really mighty, and, you know, might seem a bit cheesy. For example, Slanesh, Ben. But, but I mean, you ran Slanesh in Bonehead Bowl. What was your final standing? 3
wins and a draw, I think.
Yeah. Okay, so pretty strong, but that's still put
wait, 2 wins, a draw, and a loss. Yeah. Sorry.
Okay, so but you ended up in the top 10, I think. Maybe third or fourth, and you were up there with a Norse team, 2 Skaven teams, a Dark Elf team. And that's it. Is even the very best of these teams. The worst case scenario is that they end up playing against those people who've brought Wood Elves.
Yeah, exactly.
And you know what? That sounds like an entertaining thing. Anyway, sorry, I digress. Fear is balance and just not being able to play a fair game. But these are actually remarkably well play tested. But then you've got the ever balancing factor of what the heck am I doing? And when you play these kind of teams, you know, I don't know how many FUMBBL tournaments you're going to play a year. There are some people out there who play like 20. A lot of people are going to play 6 to 8. You know what? There is 83 teams in the Secret League alone. That means you would have to be doing this for 20 years to play 4 games with each team, you know?
Exactly.
You're going to be exploring. Saw this at Bonehead Bowl, saw this at Lockdown, saw this when I go to Mana Bowl Stunty Cup and take a silly Stunty team or whatever. You are just exploring what the teams do, and so is your opponent. And I think that is one of the most exciting things. And even the guy who's going to bring dwarves, regular dwarves, because that's what he loves playing, is going to have a new experience, because I have never played against Karsabar or Clan Pestilence, and I don't really know how to do this. So we're going to have to play. This is a challenge, and it is a new challenge.
It is, yeah, and it's a great fun one as well. It's like a new puzzle you've got to work out, and I find that just really thrilling.
Yeah, I like that. It is a new puzzle.
Yeah, the theme is so strong. You could it unlocks so much stuff in your league. If you like, we had Tombstone, which was a horror themed Blood Bowl, and you could do that because of all the secret teams give you the options. It's not just, you know, undead versus necromantic and vampires or something. You can have so many options, and you could do a whole league which is like chaos themed, and you have all the chaos teams, or you could have, you know, I don't know, bones with just bony teams. And yeah, you can just do so many things with it. And yeah, so that's a big thing. It's theme, and I think that is another way to encourage people, like I said before, where they might love a certain aspect of the lore that isn't represented in Blood Bowl, and now they can play it.
Well, there's like 1 or 2 Albion teams. There's a giant team, which aren't really giants anymore, but they're still strength 6 guys with pixies, and there's a lot to explore in there. But like Ben's saying, to get them into leagues or tournaments, you've got to face into the fact that there's going to be it's new, so there's a risk that it might seem unbalanced. Hey, and anytime you do anything to anything, there is a risk of change of balance. But I think the real key is what Ben's going at. As he said, come for theme, but the modelling opportunities.
Oh yeah, this is such a good like area. You just, if you're really into the hobby side and you love your kit bashing, your painting, your maybe even sculpting, and you really like to shop around for new opportunities, like this is a really, really cool way. Like when we were doing Tombstone, I had the wear team.
Yeah.
It was great fun looking at options. Like, I've got to find wear cats. Where can I find those? And it just encourages you to be creative. You end up with a really unique thing. Like you can put on your table a team that no one else has ever put on the table before.
That's it. It's so special and so unique. So yeah. I've got an absolute ton of special and secret league teams now. So I've got the Carvelings, the Halfling, the Chaos Halfling team. That's based on a Stunty League roster. And that was incredibly great fun to do. Build some chainsaw guys, build some chaos spawn, chuck it in there. Because
you have your big mecha tree men guys, don't you?
Oh, they were wicked. They were like £5 each with postage. Was absolutely delightful. But you know, I build my Zinch team, which is from this secret league. You know, with some chaos warriors. But I think one thing that you cannot get away from is the fact that there is an element there. So when we first put Tombstone together, it was going to be limited. It was limited. It was limited to chaos and undead teams. So like you said, like chaos and necromantic and stuff like that, plus the secret league teams. That can be a little bit restrictive. So by introducing these teams to a standard league, as long as you've got the standard stuff there, you can expand. But there's a lot of teams here that you can build as one team and run it as a normal team. So my Chaos Halflings, they work as Halflings and Goblins now, because I've got all the pieces for that. There's a couple of teams, I think there's a Nippon team. Actually, that's Samurai. It's mostly a human roster. You can build this team and then use it as a human team. Like, all it gives you an excuse to do modelling. And, you know, your Were team, I don't know, Ben, you could use that Were team for a bunch of teams, but you may end up having to get some more, plate pieces or something. The Squig
you can
team,
make a Wood Elf team, to be honest.
Wood Elf team. The Squig teams are probably the teams that are the most linear. Like, if you've built a Squig team, it's very difficult to use it as anything other than a Squig team. But you get to have a Squig team, and Games Workshop need to release and officially sanction a Squig team. But until then, there's one in secret leagues.
They will.
There's two in secret leagues and one in Stunty. It's just so much Squig madness.
And the thing is, if more leagues and tournaments make it normal, we wouldn't have to use it as something else. You can just use it as that would be the perfect world where you just have these as official rosters.
Now, are you thinking more league or tournament here, Ben?
I'm thinking more league, actually. Like on the league side, like I would love to have an ordinary league where you can level up, because, and this is purely because we usually play the secret teams in a tournament setting. Like, we haven't really played many FUMBBL leagues, and it's mostly been tournaments. And like, we had Tombstone was a tournament with secret teams. Mega Ball is going to be a tournament with secret teams. It'll be really interesting to see how they develop and where the balance comes in with that.
Absolutely.
And how they develop like an ordinary team. Yeah.
So, we run tournaments, but when it comes to FUMBBL and when it comes to Seven's Super Series, I wanted to get that pseudo element of team development. So the way our teams level up in our FUMBBL tournaments is every game you get 2 skills. So you kind of get a little bit of that. And in Seven's Super Series, you get 1 skill per game. So again, you get a little bit of development, but it is nowhere near as cool as it is having to farm that extra completion to try and level up this guy. I've lost this guy, he's injured, I can buy another guy. That full-on RPG element, the narrative element that makes Blood Bowl amazing in League. You're exactly right, Ben.
The game outside the game, isn't it?
The game outside the game, the story outside the game when it comes to this, you cannot get without playing some kind of League. And yes, introducing these teams to the League could be a little bit divisive, but they've been play tested. Their background's there. And if it's a case of Games Workshop or a case of it being a non-sanctioned Games Workshop team, man, just look at the Blood Bowl community right now. It is divided. There is a schism, genuine schism between CRP and 2016. And I think this is probably the best time to say, yeah, you got the CRP. It's been play tested for ages. Yeah, you're quite right. Here's this FUMBBL thing that's been around for a very long time with all these secret league
longer
teams.
Than me, probably.
The secret league's been around for, I don't know, maybe 10 years. It might be less. It may only be 7 or something. But that is a huge amount of time for these teams to develop. So it is actually a pretty safe environment. But I think what you said, Ben, was really, really key. You don't necessarily have to open it up to all of them. When it comes to Blood Bowl leagues and Blood Bowl tournaments, you kind of have to let everybody bring the team that they play with. So you've got to have all 26, right? Sorry, 28.5. And you've got to have those. But when it comes to the secret leagues, you can introduce as many as you like. Okay, Ben, what we're going to do is this season's going to be Lustria, so it's going to be normal teams. Plus, we're going to have the Skink team, the Snake Man team, and the Clan Pestilence team. We're going to open these teams up because of this thematic thing. And you know what? Goblins have invaded, so have Squigs too. And open
we want to do that now. Can we do that?
Right, we can do that. You can introduce that, like you said with Tombstone. Okay, guys, you can bring. Right, well, that was restricted, so you can only bring the horror things. But if you're going to do a league, add these teams in. You don't have to add them all, and you can even take it to a vote. If it depends on how democratic your league is, but realistically, you're going to end up with a few coaches. I think you're going to end up with either 2 things. You're going to end up with 2 or 3 coaches with a team that they wanted to build that's going to either be competitive or just stupid, right? And then that's kind of balanced because the rest of your players are playing normal Blood Bowl, but every now and again they're going to have to play a game against a crazy team that probably isn't that crazy. It's just different. Or you're all a bunch of mad modelers and you just go in and everybody's got a team from the Secret League, and I guarantee you're just going to have the most fun league you've ever had because the story will be so strong. Because I'm going to bring Pokemon into this because Pokemon is just a great analogy. Although there are loads of RPGs and things like that, you're exploring the game. You go around, you go to a new area, you discover this new series of stuff and new moves and new things, and it's the same thing with this. Is you're discovering new stuff, and if you don't want to go here's an extra 100 teams, introduce 10 that people can just maybe build or pick or something.
The starter teams,
Yeah, exactly. Just choose the safest ones. Now that said, I don't think there's that many from the league that are particularly crazy. They're all just based on fluff, or they run and they seem sensible and they're built of players that have been put together before, or templates that are out there for teams. And I think that's what's so exciting about it. There is a Tree Man team. It is a bunch of Tree Men with some pixies that are basically just slightly better snotlings.
It's as good as you'd expect.
Exactly. It's not it, but it's cool, man. I mean, I'd love to take.
Exactly, it's fantastic.
It's just a massive new challenge that you destroyed, I believe, with your Sanish.
Yeah, you can play against the forest though. It's like you can play out the Battle of
Full
Isengard.
on Isengard Bowl. Yeah.
Exactly.
I think there might actually be a fancy orc team that you could use for the Uruk-hai. Anyway, getting massively sidetracked on that. So where did you want to go with this, Ben?
So I just wanted, maybe we could discuss some of our favourite teams and why we like them, and then sort of like how we use them, why we use them, and what we thought it added to the game.
Absolutely. So that is a quick breakdown of what the Stunty League is, what the Secret League is, and why we think you should run, or at least introduce them to your league, the risks, the dangers, but actually it's pretty safe. Give it a go. Have a look at the teams. I put the link in the show notes so you can have a look at some of them. And if you do want to run a team and try it out, we're having a FUMBBL tournament. It starts on the 2nd of August. There's no sign-up cost. Just come in, say hello, join the Discord, have a great time and play some games with us, and you will experience some very interesting teams. You're gonna be fine and you're gonna love it if you like Blood Bowl. And even if you love playing a crunchy team, and I've played for form, and I have got my compound bow at home, and I've got my balance, I've got my lasers, and I like to do the same thing every 100 times, doesn't matter. Bring your dwarves, bring your wood elves, play to win, but it's going to be a different game, and that's going to be great. But
this time you can crush some skinks or something.
Oh man, I love the skink team. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a very quick break, and we'll be back with some of our favourite teams. Okay, and we're back, and we're going to talk about some of our favourite secret / Stunty League teams from FUMBBL, why, and really why they should be introduced into league / tournament, and what things are worth considering. So Ben, take it away. What do we got?
I'm going to kick it off with the Were team, because this was the first one I tried, and it was just really fun. It was really fun to model around. It was really fun to play. It was just really unique and just really cool. Yeah. So
I'm going to, for those of you who are watching on YouTube, I'm going to bring the rosters up on the screen, but we'll quickly talk through each of them just as we go, just to give you guys a kind of taste of what is out there. So the Were team, I think we've talked about this at least once before on the podcast, and those of you who were watching season 2 of 7 Super Series would have seen the Were team in action, at least in sevens. So Were Cats, 50k, 0 to 16, that's your lineman positional, 7-2-4-7. Okay, so strength 2 elves at the moment.
Pretty much, yeah.
With jump up, general, and agility. So with 2 skills, they're 7-2-4-7 blodgers for 50k. Yep. That's not bad. And you get werewolves. So 0 to 4 werewolves, 120k, 8-3-3-8 claw, frenzy, regen, GA for normal access. They are your werewolves. This is the werewolf team, really. This is the Were team.
You get 4 of them, which is very nice.
Up to 4. And then you get some very cool position on here, the Werebear. So 0 to 2, 110k, so a little bit cheaper than the werewolves, 4-5-1-8. So they're your big bruisers. Really stupid, mighty blow, thick skull, and grab with strength access. So they're just better trolls, Ben.
Yeah, exactly. They really are. I had, yeah, I had a really good run with Weber.
Having grab is really cool as an individual
Yes.
skill, and this team comes with 60k of 60k reroll. So you ran this at Tombstone, didn't you? How was your team?
Yeah, I think I had three wolves, the bear, and then just a bunch of cats and an apothecary. I think.
Because the fun
Yeah.
stuff is really expensive, but
Yeah,
the linemen are really good.
they are really good. This team is fast. Like if you've played Necromantic, you know what werewolves can do. They really are a star player of the team. And when you can have so many of them, and then you're backed up by movement 7 linemen,
Movement
it's
7, Edge 4 linemen.
with
But
jump up.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, jump up is huge. However,
yeah,
this team goes down like a sack of Kinder eggs under any kind
yeah,
of pressure. And I think you can see it in the sevens game I've played on YouTube with these. I think I've only used these guys once. Yes, I have, because they're due a game with the ethereal team, and
yeah,
at first they are just working and clicking, and it's just really potent. Then they start taking a couple of punches here and there, and the team falls apart, which is really cool. It's not really like any other team out there. It's got
no,
a lot of potential, but it does have a legitimate vulnerability in that your linemen are great, but they are fragile, and your fun stuff is so expensive that you don't have a lot of it. I mean, like you said, you had three wolves and a werebear. That's four positionals. That's four good players. The rest of it's linemen.
yeah.
How did you do at Tombstone in the end? Do you remember?
I'm trying to remember. I think it was 2 wins and a loss, maybe a win, a loss, a draw.
So
I
that's
think I won one and I lost one. I know that.
did you? Oh, you played against Nick's halfling tree mound people,
I
didn't you?
did. Yeah,
Yeah, that was awesome.
yeah.
That was awesome. So the team is definitely beatable. You're looking at this
Hmm.
roster and you're thinking, man, they'd be really, really, really potent even in sevens. And I don't think they won the game. I can't remember what happened, but they were really good, but they were not dominant. And
No.
that's what you want. You want to challenge a team that can win, but you can definitely beat them.
Yeah.
And that's really nice, but it plays a very unique way.
Yeah, you can pull off some really quite nice moves with them. I know having grab on the werebear was really nice with the werewolves because you can grab someone into a frenzy block with the assist already on the werebear, especially if he's got guard or something.
Yeah.
And that was really nice when you can do stuff like that, when you can kind of like maneuver them, and with jump up, you can kind of get quite, even though it's only strength 2, you can kind of swarm with the movement 7 and get like the free blocks from being down. So you go down quite a lot with armor 7 on the lineman.
You
So,
do. And then,
yeah.
being able to maneuver stuff around to get that frenzy block. Here we go. We talked about this earlier. Season 2 changes. 480 games played with a win percentage of 42%. So removed loner from werebears. Then another 395 games were played with a win percentage of 41%. So, that's nearly 800 games. No, over 800 games played there during the development of this team. And it finished
Yeah.
at 41%, which is tier 1.5. So tier 2, really. Tier 1.5,
Yeah.
tier 2. They're kind
They're a
of,
solid tier 2 team. Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like they're a little bit better than that. But actually, their vulnerability is a genuine thing.
It's like they're all on the offense and they have like no defensive skills
Glass
apart from
cannon.
like the odd regen. Yeah,
And having
it's really like a wood elf team. They at least you have
Yeah.
blodge and you have some dodge that scatter around. It's
this would be a proper brawl against Skaven, I think.
yeah.
I think Skaven would win. I think
I think
Skaven suffer. We're going to talk about Skaven in a podcast in an episode coming soon. But they suffer the injuries on linemen Skaven. That's what hurts the Skaven team. This team loses that battle against Skaven, and you can Skaven, if you've got Skaven, you've got the speed. You cannot have the toughness. In this matchup, you've both got speed, but the Skaven have the toughness edge, which is really interesting.
Claw isn't really doing anything on the werewolf.
I think I think that would be a really interesting game. We should probably play that game soon. I like
We
that.
should. At tabletop we can.
Oh, that's the dream. Hey, we've got teams ready to go.
do.
Okay, so that was one of your teams, was the Were team. What am I going to pick for one of mine? You know what? Let's go for the Nippon team. So Nippon is a place in the Warhammer world that was very lightly touched on. It's got ancient Asian culture style things, so it's kind of samurai ninjas, and this team has got samurais and ninjas. So this is the Nippon team, and it's got 0 to 16 Ashigaru, which are 50k 6338. They're human linemen. Okay, so human linemen on this team. Then you got 0 to 4 Samurai, which are 90k 7338 block, general strength. We all know that positional. That's human blitzer. That's Skaven blitzer. 0 to 4. Okay, so we've got human linemen, we've got human blitzers. Then you've got the spice. So you've got a core of a human team there, and then you've got 0 to 2 warrior monks, 90k 7337 claw. Okay, interesting. But this is why I love this team. The 0 to 2 ninjas, 90k 8247 dodge leap. So slightly slower than a gutter runner, but they come with leap instead. And they're backed up by human linemen and human blitzers with a couple of really interesting pieces. This team is so fun and really demonstrates the fact that there's so much design space in Blood Bowl. This is a human team, but they've kept the linemen, they've kept the blitzers, and they've just tweaked the other positionals. 0 to 2 ninjas. So I saw this play in Lockdown Bowl, which was a FUMBBL tournament that was 4 weeks. That one actually had league development, so it was really cool to see the teams kind of get butchered and everything. And the ninjas were wicked. It was such an exciting team. It was humans with 2 gutter runners, and those ninjas just did crazy stuff. There's no big guy.
Yeah.
There's no big guy. There's no sure hands. The rerolls are 60k. No, you don't need it, but it's missing that bit. So you've lost the all trades element of human, and you've added that bit of spice opportunity with 2 ninjas, just 2. I think the fact there's just 2 is really, really good.
Yeah. They're like kind of honed down war dancers, aren't they? Really?
yeah. Okay, that's probably fair. But I think the reason I choose this as one of my great examples is that you can build a human team. Get some Ashigaru heads, Puppets War. Get some Samurai heads, Puppets War. Get some Ninja heads, Puppets War. Build your linemen. Build your blitzers as normal. Take 2 catcher models. Chuck Ninja heads on. Okay? Maybe you get a pack of 5 heads. But build all 4 of your catchers with Ninja heads.
Get a cloak from somewhere, I'm sure, as well, maybe, just to make it look really unique.
If you want. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
but
you don't have to, yeah.
No, you've made those guys different enough, and you can still use them as a human team. So you take them to a regular tournament, you're like, oh, this is my human team. Everyone's like, dude, sweet samurai ninja human team. And you're like, I know. And then you take it to a tabletop event that, or your local league that is allowing this team in it. And you've got a Nippon team, which it's just so different. And it was so exciting watching this team do its thing. And it in that league, it created a story. It was these ninjas they got blocked. They did stuff. It was really, 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 really exciting, really interesting team. And this is on my list of teams to build. And here, Nippon team, Season 2, 450 games. Season 3, 469 games with a win percentage of 50.32%. Which so
good. People like Nippon, don't they?
That's it. But it's a cool roster. But that puts it 50% really cool. Is, Dark Elf territory. And it's definitely beatable. It's just a human team. You take out the ninjas, you just manhandle the humans. And that's beatable. Say, Wood Elves, you take out the war dancers, you're Skaven, you take out the gutter runners, and you just dominate board. You can beat this team exactly the same way. Okay, yeah. What do you got next, Ben?
For me next, I'm going to talk about my most recent one I played, which was Slaanesh, which we kind of glossed over in the previous section.
Here we go.
Yeah, this team is awesome. There's a couple of secret teams of Slaanesh. There is one which is quite insane, which we saw, wasn't it? And we thought maybe that should get tweaked.
Did we want to talk about that on an episode like a few months ago?
I think we did. Yeah, maybe when we were.
Oh, because the Sage put a community team together for Slaanesh. So yes, Ben is right. There is a Slaanesh team, and there is a Demons of Slaanesh team. So the Slaanesh team is the Chaos analog, so Chaos Chosen. So the Nurgle roster, there's got your Chaos Warriors for Nurgle, it's got that kind of stuff. The Slaanesh roster is that, but for Slaanesh. So 0 to 16 Slaves to Darkness, which are 60k for 6347. So that's Pro
Very
Elf.
solid.
But they come with Mutation on regular, which is very interesting.
Yes.
0 to 4 Slangors, 80k, 7337. So Beastman, +1 movement, -1 armor. Horns, yeah. Very long legs and prehensile tail with general
these guys
agility
are
mutation.
beast.
Right, so no agility. They're one faster, they're one slower. So they're Skaven with horns. They've got very long legs, which does very little unless you've got leap. Okay, so and prehensile tail. Prehensile tail is pretty good. Then you've got.
It came in handy. Yeah.
Well, man, it's so good on Croxigors.
Yeah.
It's something you don't even consider, but that changing that dodge away from a 3+ to a 4+, or from a 2+ to a 3+ is massive.
Yeah. Even just if anything psychologically, they just won't do it.
Yeah, it is. Well, I don't want to take a dodge with a 3+ with my gutter runner because the gutter runner will fall over and explode. Happens. Slanesh Warriors 0 to 4, 110k, so 10k I think more than Chaos Blockers. 6, 4, 3, 8. So drop a armor, gain a movement. Comes with claw and very long legs. Just brutal. Ben, how did you get on with this team?
This team was fantastic. This was fun. This was like if you want to play a Chaos team and give it a bit of spice, season it a bit. As for this team, it's you have the big strength 4 heavy hitters, and they come with claw from the get-go, which everyone wants. And that was awesome when I played against the Tree Man team, and it did a lot of work there.
That was a heck of a matchup. That
was good fun.
I felt so sorry for Widram.
Yeah, me too.
It was a bad matchup. It was like I'm just having a look at the result here for your team. Let's do. Where were you? What was your team called? Perfection Perfected. You were 10th place, 2 wins, 1 loss, and a tie. And trying to find your team. Anyway, so you did play the trees. How did you do against the trees? Do you remember?
I can't remember. I honestly can't remember.
It's forever ago. It's oh wow. Oh yes, of course. Oh, there was some narrative here because you played against one of the other great teams of the Secret League, the Ethereal team. Your nemesis.
Yeah. Which I'll come to because that's my other team that I've chosen.
Perfection Perfected. Oh yes, you lost the last round handily to the Secret team, Bretonian style.
They were rough.
That was a dominant performance. So Perfection Perfected 2-1 against the trees. It was only 2-1.
Yeah, it was a grind. Like I could break through them, but the pixies were around and Treeman are still pretty smashy, so he got a lot of punches in. But
you got 4 casualties against him.
It was pretty good. Yeah, it was pretty good.
But as they say in Fast and the Furious, winning is winning.
Yes.
And yeah, your team did a very good job, but again, it wasn't a whitewash. Even though this team has got Edge 4 linemen, which apparently Ben loves, and the Slangors are great. You gave them leap, right?
Yeah. See that I thought going into this, the Warriors would be the ones to watch out for with claw. Strength 4 and claw. That's terrifying.
You would imagine.
But really, it was the Gors. It was the Beastmen. They, with very long legs, and I stuck leap on them with the skills. They never let me down. I was like leaping into cages with the horns. I was leaping out of them, getting touchdowns. It was amazing. I think I failed like 1 leap roll. It was just pure luck, but oh man, they were so much fun. You can just go everywhere, and it really helped against like the Tree Man team with the stunties, the prehensile tail everywhere.
Oh yeah,
it's great.
Absolutely. So this team versus a Chaos team. Okay, you got agility on the lineman. That's huge, but you've lost the armor. Slangors, you've lost the armor. Slanesh Warriors, you've lost the armor. And where's the Minotaur? There is no Minotaur. So a Chaos versus Slanesh team, you've got the movement, but the Chaos team are going to do the grind. I think this team has the edge at a lower level, but the Chaos team and the Nurgle team are going to have more resilience. They're going to last longer because you did have some casualties. You did suffer some casualties with this team, I think.
Yeah, especially against those Bretonians. They really tore it apart.
Yeah, the Brets were, they did their thing. So you caused 7 casualties. You lost 10 over the course of 4 games. And the Chaos Chosen team, which ranked one above you in that, run by
Mhm.
Puckster. Chaos Tuesday was even on 5 and 5 with casualties. So your claw got you a few more, but armor
Yeah.
letting twice as many. Not as many as I did, but that's okay. 13-13 evens on my casualties.
13.
Dude, there were some quick games. There were some quick games. So these are all teams from the Secret League. Ben, let's go. Let's go for your next one.
Okay, straight into the next one. Yeah. So the next one I chose is Ethereal. So I'll just bring up these stats here because this team was my nemesis
I love this
since
story.
Tombstone Tournament. Yeah, they
And the fact it was
I played
against a
against
wobbler as well. Another wobble
yeah,
league mate.
yeah,
Milton.
against Milton. He took the Ethereal team and we had a couple of practice games to like work our roster, I believe. And yeah, I went into this tournament thinking just like, okay, right. We've got this is the team. I think I can outspeed it. The Ethereal. Let's talk through their stats. So hang on. Oh wait, I have got the wrong team up. Look at that.
You went for Elemental, didn't you?
Yep.
Yeah, I keep doing that. The Ethereal team we talked about on the podcast a couple of times before. I literally
Yes.
think we've properly talked about it because it is such a fun team. And again, we've run this on 7 Super Series. So if you want to see it in action in 7s, you can check that out. We played a couple of games. I think maybe we cast a couple of games of one of the FUMBBL tournaments with Ethereal as well. So definitely
Yeah, I think
worth
so.
looking at the matches. Ben, have you got the stats?
Yes. So
Take
their
it away.
linemen 0 to 16 are Spirit Hosts. They're 60k and they're 6357.
Okay, so you've moved from Edge 4 lineman to Edge 5 lineman, Ben. Okay.
Yes.
Seeing the
However,
trend here.
they do have no hands, foul appearance, titchy, and regenerates. They're titchy as well, so they're dodging anywhere they would like.
For a 2+ forever.
Yeah, yeah. They got regenerate, so they're kind of annoying to take down, which I
Yep.
did find out in Tombstone. And foul appearance is rough. So yeah, you've got these like pretty good linemen. There's Armor 7 linemen that go anywhere you want, and they just are there to get in the way and block, and that's really good. So moving on, you have 0 to 4 wraiths. So these are like your mid tier player, your core. They're 110k, 6338, and their foul appearance, disturbing presence, leap, very long legs, regenerate, and stab.
So just a few skills there.
Yeah, so they've got a lot. And again, foul appearance, disturbing presence. So you kind of like Nurgle warriors with strength 3.
Yeah, these are the blitzers of this team.
Yes, they are, and they have stabs. That's always an option.
Dude, stab is great.
Yeah, it's really good.
That's what this team is kind of about. Yeah, they've got leap and very long legs. So you've got the spirit hosts running around anywhere you like on a 2+. All they're ever doing is taking a cheeky blitz at strength 3 or chucking in supports or just getting in the way, adding tackle zones because they can't pick up the ball, but they sure can stop you from picking it up.
Yep.
And you've got the Wraith, found appearance, same as before, which is frustrating as heck, but mostly to remember it.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
great thing about FUMBBL is it will do it for you and you'll get a really retro sound effect. Disturbing presence on up to 4 players of your team. I mean, they're ghosts. It makes sense. So thematically, the spirit hosts, no hands. They've got hands. You just can't use them to pick up the ball because they're ghosts. Everyone's seen Casper, or the movie Ghost, which is older than all of us, but that's fine. That's thematic. And the Wraith with disturbing presence because, they don't have Binky, but they are death incarnate on the Blood Bowl pitch.
Yes.
They've got stab because they touch you with their icy death touch.
Yep.
And it doesn't matter where they touch you. There's a chance you're gonna die.
Yeah, they're leaping into cages stabbing, which is always a great option. When your spirit hosts are blocking, these guys can just jump where they like and stab, which is really cool. And then on top of that, you have banshees. So 0 to 2 of them, 100k, 7247. Foul appearance again, leap, very long legs again, regenerate again, and then hypnotic gaze. So these are pretty much your ball carriers. So they're fast, they have good edge, they're quite weak at strength 2, but with foul appearance, it does kind of keep them quite safe.
And there's only 2 of them.
Yes, only 2. So once these guys are gone, suddenly the team is quite struggling to get the ball because you're down to your wraiths, which you won't have many of either because they're all quite expensive. So kind of taking out these key players is the way to break this team apart. But they all have regenerate.
It's funny. The Wear team has got some really expensive key positionals, but their linemen are great, fragile but great. This team, their positionals are insanely cool. They're expensive as well, but their linemen are so thematic. This is just top-down design. This is how do we get Ghosts to play? Even in the notes, Tichy Adge 5 No Hands represents a player that is always ethereal. They are just ghosts, and like you say, Ben, the counterpunch to this roster is you take out the Wraiths and the Banshees. It limits their actual ability to move the ball or to do anything. I mean, we've all played against a Lizardman team and got lucky and taken out some skinks. This is like that, but they can't roll a 6 with no hands. This is just an absolute, it's just all or nothing. Like, if you ghost their ghosts, you've won. If their ghosts survive, because they've got regenerate and foul appearance, so you've got a 2+ to hit them, and then even if you do knock them out, take them out of the game on a 4+, they're coming back, which is so key. But you had the match of your life against these.
Yeah. Oh, it's a rhythm of redemption. So when I played in Tombstone with my Wear team against Milton, he really tore the team apart, and I think I was down to about 2 players.
Yeah, it was horrific.
Yeah, in the most recent FUMBBL tournament, I played against them. I was dreading it, wasn't I? Do you remember we were saying the matchups were all lining up after everyone was playing their games? It's going to be like, oh, Ben, you look like playing Ethereal. Oh, no, it's okay. You've been saved. Oh, wait, no, that person got a cheeky win. Looks like you're up against Ethereal.
We were all very excited to see you exercise your demons / ghosts.
Yeah. So I brought this Nesh along and, absolutely tore them apart. It was...
You weren't afraid of no ghosts, Ben. 4-0.
4-0.
I feel like you streamed this game as well.
I did stream this one. Yeah,
you did stream it. You got no casualties. They got 2 casualties against you, but you got 4 touchdowns, and just dominated. I remember. I think you were leaping around and stealing the ball and just avoiding the race.
I was just avoiding it. I think last time I played the Wear team, I got 2 stuck in, and the odd foul appearance really screws up all your plans, especially with like when you're relying on your frenzy. You've got to do it twice.
And if you go for that key blitz on the ball carrier.
Yeah, exactly.
Boom.
So I tried to bog his players down with the linemen, tried to stop them doing all their sneaky shenanigans. I didn't cage up that much because this team has huge cage breaking opportunity with leap very long legs, with hypno gaze, with stab. It
ignores your cage. It just walks through your cage.
Exactly. Yeah. I just went speed and just tried to power through constantly, using my leap and very long legs my advantage, and it was really good fun.
This is exactly what we're talking about, right? These are a bunch of teams that play like no other, and you get games that are just so unique. Because how do you play? How do you play your Chaos team against this Ghost team that actually plays like ghosts? This is another team that I could absolutely see Games Workshop bringing in a team like this. There's lore for it. These skills. There is nothing going on here that aren't covered in the rules. There's nothing going on here that's not understandable. It gives a really unique play experience of, look, if you play this right, you're going to have a great time. If you play it ever so right, it's like playing Eldar, it's just, you get it right, you line up well, you're going to absolutely dominate, or you're going to get crushed. And it's just so exciting. And they're great fun in 7s. You don't have the line. So if you deploy against Ethereal in 11s, you've got that lineup, those Wraiths get a bunch of free stabs. And free stabs are just really potent. And it's different in 7s. You've got positional limits as well. But these guys, their key players being so expensive has the same issue. Their linemen being so expensive at 60k. You don't get a lot for your money with this team. It's a unique play experience, I think, is probably the best way to say.
And I think as well, just one more thing is, on the table they look unique when you have models for them. Like Milton did a great job with his Ethereal team, where he just used the Games Workshop line, which has amazing models for it.
He did. The only problem with Milton's Ghost team is that when we put him on YouTube, everyone was like, hey, how'd you paint it? And he went full Darren Latham and was like, hey, I did it using these 27 paints, but interesting fact, 29 of them are out of print. But it's such a lovely paint job.
So good.
Yeah, he used
And it just looks different to every Blood Bowl team.
human lineman, just with a ghosty paint scheme. He used for the wraiths. He used the I don't know, some chain, not chain rasp, but some AOS. The guys with the
it's the
pointed
chain
fingers.
rasp. Yeah, chain rasp.
And then he used some banshee guys for banshees, and the team looks awesome. Definitely want a ghost team at some point because it's just so much fun. Right, I'm gonna do a couple more, Ben, because these are just so good.
Yeah, you go ahead. Yeah, let's keep going.
Oh man, who to choose? I know I picked some out of my notes, and I went for the Nippon team because I got to sort that, do some stuff. Let's go for
On your Zinch team?
Yeah, let's go for the Zinch team because I'm building it now because it's so cool. So we're watching Lockdown Bowl, and I got to stream a bunch of the games. And a coach called FUMBBL, who also played and did very well in Bonehead Bowl, ran a Zinch team. The Zinch team is like your Slaanesh team. It's a Chaos version, but it's for Zinch, the god. So it's like a Nurgle team, but for Zinch. This is just such a cool team. So the linemen aren't linemen. Okay, they are familiars. They are sorceress familiars, and that's like little dudes, like the little pumpkin dudes, little candle dudes, little book dudes. They're just weird little things based on some old Games Workshop models. These guys are 30k, 6'1", 3'6", so strength 1, agility 3, stunty, titchy, right stuff, dodge. So without sidestep, they are snotlings, fast snotlings, better armored snotlings, and they come with foul appearance, which we've agreed is an incredible defense mechanism. Rich used to lord up how great foul appearance was, and I was just nonsense. You're full of garbage. Just take block.
And you have that one game where it ruins you.
But you know what? Foul appearance for free on a strength 1 player.
Yeah,
it's going to keep him alive. A strength 1 player with dodge, it's going to keep him alive. So these little dudes just can't run around. They're 2+ing it 3 places. They've got dodge as a reroll. They've got a 2+ ward save against being punched in the face. So they're your linemen. You got the Autoford Zarngors, which are 6'3", 3'8" for 80k. Horns, so these are your beastmen. That is a beastman. Horns with extra arms and big hand. Okay. I looked at this and I was like, yeah, that's cool. That's thematic. Zinch is very like, hands everywhere. You know, that's fine. Hands and eyes, that's cool. But then we watched a game and Matt's BBL was co-commentating and we couldn't figure out what had happened for a second because he blitzed the ball free. FUMBBL blitzed the ball free and it landed in like 4 tackle zones. And it was like, oh, well, that was good work. Could we able to put some tackle zones on the ball as well? At least it'll be tough to... And all of a sudden, this beastman had just run in and picked up the ball and then dodged out. We're like, what just happened? Big hand ignores tackle zones. Extra arms gives you +1. So this beastman just wandered into a bunch of tackle zones. 2+ picked up the ball. Then 3+ dodged out because Edge 3 is really fine. And just swooped in with this massive mutated hand and grabbed this thing. And being able to blitz a strength 4 means actually you can blitz, knock down that ball carrier, and just follow up, pick up the ball on a 2+. It's ridiculously good. And the Zinch Warriors are cool as well. 5, 4, 3, 9. So standard Chaos Warriors. They come with Hypnotic Gaze and extra arms. So they're 120k. So they're 20k more for extra arms, which gives you kind of edge 4 sometimes. And Hypnotic Gaze can be really useful. It only works on a 4+ with these guys. So it's not ideal. You're often more having a better time blocking. But it becomes a really interesting team where you've got garbage linemen who will blow up. And you've got some really interesting players. It's just a fundamentally slightly changed Chaos team. And talking of Chaos teams, this one does actually have a big guy.
Well, yeah, this is...
I've got my Changeling here, which is the Changeling model with a blue horror hand instead of the staff. And 130k, it's got Movement Star, Strength Star, Edge Star, Armor Star. It comes with Pro, which is cool. And then the really exciting thing is at the beginning of every game with this Changeling, you roll a d6. On a 1 or 2, it's a Troll. On a 3 or 4, it's an Ogre. And a 5 or 6, it's a Minotaur for the game. And you know what? You're talking about leveling up and skilling up and brewing these teams. What do you do with the Changeling? Do you just go for Claw and assume it's going to be great? What do you do? Like, it's so cool. This player is going to be different each game. Oh, did I
It is
shoot?
really awesome. Like you can get a cheap Minotaur with Pro.
Yes, you
Yeah,
can.
you save 20k and get Pro.
Yes, you
Yeah.
can. But you could also end up with a troll. But having
But
that
it's a troll with Pro.
pro
It's not.
makes
Yeah.
it a little bit better.
Yeah.
So Zinch team is really interesting. That's why I'm building it. I will probably be bringing this to Mega Bowl because I think it's going to be a really interesting team. You've got the familiars, you can use whatever you like. It's just another way to use the models that are out there, do a cheeky bit of converting, and you've got some arms from Blue Horrors. I've got some Rubric Marines heads. I've got the Changeling model. It's just, I don't know. I just needed another Chaos team apparently. So
Well, I think that's a really good point because I'm glad we touched on Slanesh and Tzeentch because this is what I love about the Secret League is because Born has a team in Blood Bowl, a core
yeah,
team, sort of a semi-core team.
yeah.
Nurgle has a team, and there's generic Chaos, but then Slanesh and Tzeentch aren't in there. And suddenly, now they've got a really thematic team each
It's
to bring along, and you
they're
can have all your gods.
they are so thematic. I think you've
Yeah.
that's exactly it. So those are some of the more ordinary teams, I suppose. Just the teams that you kind of
Solid.
I could play that. I could play that. I mean, Ben, before we wrap up this segment, is there any other teams that you think we could talk about? I mean, we could talk about them all, but any other key teams there?
I think you've got one you want to talk about.
I've got all of the ones I want to talk about, man.
Yeah. Should we talk about we could talk about Squigs. We could talk about Goblin, some of the Goblin stunties. I think we should go crazy. Let's go wild. We talked serious. Let's go. Let's take it up a notch.
Okay, should we go Squigs from Secret League or Squigs from the Stunty League? Because the Stunty League is the one that's where we got the Squig team for 7 Super Series. That one's really
Which is
simple.
crazy.
That one's really simple. You got herders, you got squigs, and you got squig hoppers. That's it for the team.
Okay.
We'll go for the secret team, squig team, because I know there's a couple of listeners out that have built them, that love them.
Yeah.
And if you want squigs, there are 2 teams in secret teams alone. You've got night goblins, which are goblins, trolls, and some squigs, and then you have got a squig team with all the squigs. Yeah, that one's just super fun. Okay, so straight off the bat, you got 0 to 16 squig herders. 40, 6237, dodge, stunty, right stuff, thrall. So they're goblins.
Foreshadowing there.
Yeah. Yeah. Goblins with thrall. Then you've got madness. Just complete madness. Okay, so 0 to 2 cave squigs, 80k, 6, 4, 3, 8. So strength 4, edge 3 for your cave squig. Leap, very long legs. So they're leaping around on a 3+. No hands. Yep. They basically don't have hands. Really stupid. They need to be herded, hence the squig herders, and claw because chomp. So you've got 0 to 2 cave squigs. They're really stupid, but they're strength 3 claw. No, strength 4 claw. That's fun. You know, the Slanesh team is that. Then you've got the absolute star players, which are 0 to 4 squig hoppers. Now, with Games Workshop releasing the great models for Night Goblins in Age of Sigmar, this is why a squig team is so required. So squig hoppers 0 to 4, 100 cage, 6, 4, 3, 8. So strength 4, edge 3, leap, very long legs, doing the stuff, bloodlust, and claw. So you've got up to 6 strength 4 claw players there with either bloodlust or really stupid. So no. Anybody who's played goblins or read fluff about goblins, you know, background, they're unreliable. And when it comes to squigs, they are chaotic. And this is that. You're going to bloodlust, you're going to eat your own players. Really stupid. The cave squigs are just going to refuse to do anything. But that's not even the most exciting thing about this team. We've got 3 more to go. 0 to 1 giant cave squig. 110, 4519, troll time. Loner, really stupid thick skull, troll time. No hands and claw. So for 110k, you get basically a troll with claw. That isn't bad.
That's not bad at all.
There's your big guy. Then you've got the Mangler Squig, which in Blood Bowl is somewhat smaller than it is in Age of Sigmar, which is definitely worth considering because the Age of Sigmar Mangler Squig is giant sized. In this, it just needs to be 2 squigs stuck together, which I know we talked about on the hobby stream the other week.
Yeah, we did. Ian brought his Mangler.
Yeah, it's show and tell. So the Mangler Squig is 120k, 3718. Can you guess what's coming? It is a ball and chain with claw, no hands, and no secret weapon at all. This thing is just two
Amazing.
squigs chained together, and it's going to 3-7-1-8 around the pitch. And unless it gets stuck in a pit trap, which is exactly what happened on the opening game with the Squig team in Bonehead Bowl, it ended up in a pit trap in the first turn of the game while playing against Ollie the Norse team and just stayed there for the whole game. It's brutal.
Oh, no.
The Mangler Squig is a terrifying prospect.
And it's still got claw. Like claw and ball and chain is horrible.
Yeah, it's just an absolute prime target. It's got no loner, so it's a prime target for go for it as well. So you've got 6 squigs with claw. Then you've got another big squig troll with claw. Then you've got a squig ball and chain with claw. Then you've got the squig gobber. Now I didn't get to see the squig gobber in action. 80k, movement 1, strength 5, edge 1, armor 9. All right, weird. Movement 1 troll, bombardier. Claw, Hail Mary pass, really stupid, no hands, secret weapon. So this guy needs some support. Otherwise, it's going to be doing stuff at a 4+, but Hail Mary pass, bombardier, it's just going to be gobbing squigs anywhere on the pitch. Shamefully, it does have secret weapon, but then again, you're getting away with it with the Mangler squig.
And like you come with Hail Mary pass, which every bombardier wants.
Oh, it's the dream. It's the dream. So if you like carnage and chaos, this is a team that you can absolutely run. And worst case scenario, all of your guys die and you end up with goblins. Goblins can do stuff. And
it's like, let's say you get your bombardier swarmed and they try to take him out and they fail. You've then got a strength 5 piece with claw. I can just punch back.
Yeah, it's got some defense there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's just such an interesting team. And we saw this team play against the other team with squigs in the Secret League, which was the Night Goblin team. And that's got squig hoppers, it's got fanatics, it's got trolls, it's got netters. It's just, there's so much stuff here that's interesting. We haven't even got to the Blood Dragons, Lamy and Necrarch, Strigoi, Von Carstein, Sylvania Pact. So if you're a vampire player, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 teams there. I don't know if I got Sylvania Pack in the Mega Bowl rulebook. I might have to check that. But that, vampires. Everybody loves vampires, but they need a bit of something. Right? It's like getting fish and chips and just not having curry sauce. It's just, it would be great with that extra bit. The big guy. We saw this in the big guy competition. We had about 75 billion entries for various big guys for vampire teams because that's what the people want. We got just different vampire teams, and it is that. It's everything that we are on the Bonehead podcast is expanding Blood Bowl, having more games, having different games, exploring the design space, and just go join a FUMBBL tournament. Join the Secret League on FUMBBL, play some games. If you are a TO or a league commissioner, introduce some. They're not going to be crazy. Ben, you and I spoke a few episodes ago. I don't know what it was ago now. Everything's just been one long day. But we talked about themed leagues, didn't we?
Yes, we did. Yeah. I
joked earlier about taking it to the tropical area, Lustria, and introducing some teams.
Oh yeah.
Don't know. Just set your thing in Sylvania. It's got the Sylvania Cup. What's cool about the Sylvania Cup? We've got Were teams, Sylvania Pact, all the vampire teams are in there. You can run your normal guys, but for this league, we're going to have the vampire theme as well.
Yeah. That'd be great. You got like 6 vampire teams to play with, all up against each other.
That's sweet. But I think the last thing for me is that if you're lucky enough to have a league that is willing to accept a limitation on teams, that's amazing. That's the perfect idea. Is we're going to have a vampire league. I'm in a zombie league at the moment. It's insanely fun. I've got my strength 4 zombie now, so absolutely winning.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I know. That's the dream. It turns out kickoff return, very useful on zombies.
Yeah.
There
you go. You'd never learn that without a zombie league.
You certainly wouldn't. But it is fun to have a limited league. But if you've got a league that only plays 2 times a month, 1 times a month, one times a month, you don't want to limit the guys who have. I've gone to Games Workshop. I've bought myself a Pro-Off team. I'd like to play Pro-Offs, please. No. We're only having horror time right now.
Yeah.
Not great. But this league is going to be set in Sylvania, so we're going to add these teams to this league for this period of time. So you can expand it. So Ben, you and I, the people who like to model cool things and try teams, we can have it. So, but Simon is going to come to the league with Dark Elves. He can still play, and you've got to have that agreement with the group. But these teams are relatively balanced. And
I like,
hey,
and they're just fun to play. But I think even if they're not, nor is Blood Bowl. You can't exactly compare halflings to Wood Elves and say this game is balanced. You just have fun with it, and I think that is really the most important thing with it. Is just try new things. I think is a really good thing to encourage in the hobby. Try new ways to model your stuff, try new ways to paint, and try new ways to play the game, because it just makes it, spices it up.
Absolutely. And if you're running a tournament, sneak these in. It won't go down well with the NAF, but
No.
I'm so on board with all the work the NAF has done, and the way it unites a load of tournament stuff. But don't let it limit what you think of as Blood Bowl, because if you've ever played an RPG, if you've ever played some D&D, if you've ever explored something and made it your own, this is a really good resource to do it. And just play some crazy games of Blood Bowl with some friends, and you'll have some serious stories. I mean, this is why we say mixed teams. They become your own teams. There's one more team I do need to mention, because one of our Patreons mentioned it. We've already talked about Ethereal team, but one of our Patreons was like, you've got to mention the Dwarf Engineer team. And there's a bunch of Dwarf teams. This Dwarf team is fun. The Dwarves don't have tackle. They come with the Hail Mary pass bazooka guy, a bombardier, a chainsaw, the death roller. They've got runners with 2 runners with sure hands. They've got kickers with block, kick, and dirty player. They've got no blitzers, no slayers. It is all about secret weapons, and there's no tackle on the lineman. So they're a bit cheaper, so you can buy the crazy stuff. This is Dwarves as they were in 2nd edition, and I love it. And this is the team I'm going to be painting up my help me out here, man. The Fanav team. Yeah.
Nice.
Very nice. To play. I don't think I'll go for that paint scheme of blue and white, but it's just, it can be used as dwarves, but it could also be used as a dwarf engineer team, because why not? Dwarves as they were when they were fun. we hate on dwarves quite a bit, and that's entirely deserved. So that's brilliant. Ben, was there anything else you wanted to add on secret teams?
No, I think that's it. Just let us know as well if you're planning on doing a secret team, and it'll be awesome, because we love talking about them. We love encouraging them to go out there and pick a secret team and make some stuff, and it'll be awesome to see.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And if you want to give it a test run, honestly, I think Summer Sorcery, our FUMBBL tournament, is going to be a great place to do that. And it goes live in about a week after this podcast airs. So if you're listening and you never tried FUMBBL, join up. You don't have to join the Discord. It's no problem. But I do recommend joining the Discord, because you get some good stuff. We're going to do round predictions like we did before, but better organized. Now I know what the people want to do. And we're going to stream as many games as possible, because it's just so cool to see these teams develop, to build the stories. Teams are already signing up, which is wicked. And I'm just really excited to see Blood Bowl that we've not seen before. And hey, bring on the stories.
Hell yeah, love it.
Brilliant. So with that, we will wrap up today's podcast. What we are going to be doing, unless, now this is always a caveat, unless Games Workshop release the Snotlings, when that happens, we will drop everything and go Snotling mad, right? And when I say Snotling mad, there'll be an unboxing, there'll be a review. When Ben and I get our hands on any kind of rules, we'll be talking about it. Ian Warhannam Hannam is going to paint us up a team so we can get some YouTubing immediately, depending on lockdown rules. And we're going to go boom, we're going to go explore Snotlings, or it might be easier just to do some FUMBBL games like we did with Old World Alliance, to get that info in.
Yeah, that could work.
That was really good fun. That was great fun, actually. So unless Snotlings happen, our next episode is going to be all about Skaven, because we were kind of waiting for the older teams and then going back to them during a bit of downtime. I love Skaven. and I've kind of been holding off, hoping they'll get their own spike. That's not going to happen anytime soon. You know what? I'm happy with Snotlings. I'm very happy with how Skaven play now, and I've got a cheeky little bit of experience with Skaven. And Ben, you've played Skaven as well. So
yeah, I'm painting up a Skaven team. So yeah, I'm working on it.
Yeah, so we are going to be talking all about Skaven. So if you've got any tips, tricks, or some horror stories, drop them into us because we would love to talk about them on the next podcast. But for now, we are going to wrap up. So guys, thank you ever so much for joining us. Drop us a message, let us know what you're getting up to, what's going on, and your experience with Secret League and some of the crazy teams. And yes, that is going to be it for me. And Ben, thank you very much for hanging out and for being excited enough to want to do a Secret League special.
Hey, it's worth it. It's worth its own show. It's so good.
That's worth many shows, which might be in danger of becoming the Secret League podcast. But would that be a bad thing, right? Would that be a terrible thing?
Let's make it happen.
Yeah, we basically already are, which I love. Right, guys, we will catch you on the next episode. Toodaloo.
Bye-bye.